Cars coming to the grid for the final time in 2012. 22 cars ready to start the last race of the Porsche Supercup here in Monza. Norbert Siedler on pole on the right-hand side of the screen from Kevin Estre. René Rast right behind the man on the left-hand side of the grid as we look at it. First and second in the championship are fourth and second on the grid, and fourth and second into the first corner. Sean Edwards from third place tucks in behind Kevin Estre, and Norbert Siedler from pole is the race leader. A long way around the outside, Nicky Thiem, race winner last time out, gets alongside René Rast as they get out of the Rettifilio, and Rast survives, but someone's off in the gravel. I think it might have been Patrick Szczebiński.
Rast a little bit cautious, but he knew he had to make it count there. He couldn't hemorrhage a position and let the front three get away. Norbert Siedler and Kevin Estre, Sean Edwards, as they started, René Rast in fourth. So line astern, if you like. Who's that going straight on?
Again, that's Szczebiński again. No, that is Szczebiński again. He was off in the gravel at the Rettifilio, and he's off on the runoff area on the Roggia. So he's having a lot of exploration in corners that start with R. Oh, and that's one of the Forts Racing cars. Going very slowly indeed. That's not Robert Lucas, it's the other one. Schultz. So, the leader then, Norbert Siedler from pole position, but as we've seen all the way through this weekend here at Monza, and habitually everywhere, every time at Monza, it is all about slipstreaming the car in front. And you saw there Kuba Gimaziak getting a run on Nicky Thiem, who outbraked himself into Ascari, and Thiem will be vulnerable for that fifth position now.
Yeah, teammate.
Oh my goodness me! Yikes.
That could have been a lot bigger than it has turned out to be. That was a very frightening moment, and there's a couple of cars caught up.
Maciej Lisowski. On the inside there is Michel Ammermuller, the black car, trying to go up the inside of Kuba Gimaziak. Ammermuller looking for the rookie title.
And he's fighting Thiem for it. So
Estre pulling out as Edwards gets the run on the inside. That's Edwards on the left-hand side with the turquoise bonnet rather than the pale blue bonnet. Edwards for second position, trying to resurrect his season. He is a championship contender.
So Estre not defending too vigorously there. You would have thought Estre would have gone on the defensive line and asked more of Edwards in terms of passing him. He would have asked him to go around the outside, but that's not to be the case. Edwards making easy work of Kevin Estre down into turn one. We're on board with René Rast towing up to the Roggia. It's very bumpy downhill here. Easy to lock a wheel and make a mistake on the entry. If you make a mistake on the entry, you're compromised. Very difficult to get around the second right-hander here all over the exit curbs. You'll find yourself Lukowski. I think that's pitting, isn't it?
That's Robert Lucas.
Is it?
Yeah. He was off then in the Roggia. Let's take a look again at the start. Textbook stuff from the front four men on the grid. All fans out a little bit further back, and then they go, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide down into the braking area as the track funnels you down onto one car length of tarmac in which you've got to get off the brake and roll into the corner. And I tell you what, Edwards, Rast and Thiem there came very close to a bit of disaster. There was disaster further back.
Good driving from Thiem. He could have really forced Rast off, but didn't do that. Look at that bump, and then he slaps the barrier. I thought he could have turned sharp right, which would have been a catastrophe.
His teammate was right behind him, but it was Lisowski that got most of the gravel trap there. Yikes. That was Lucas right in front of him. Scary moment. His car is still out there. Broken right front suspension, I think, from that impact. On board with Sebastian Bleekemolen. Through the Variante Ascari, the chicane put in and named after the man who lost his life there, former world champion. Alberto Ascari, no wonder he came to a dead halt. No, he knows somebody's in there as well. It's all very well in film saying, I never lift when there's dust, I always go harder, but actually in real life, it doesn't often work. Looking at Philip Eng, the blue car, number 7 machine. Right behind Stefano Camini, who makes his first start. There's Camini in 41, makes his first ever Porsche start. Last year won the McGann Trophy Euro Cup Series, 14 races. He was on pole for 12, won 11 of them, didn't compete in 2 others. So he had a pretty dominant season. Out front, though, it is the poleman, car number 1, Norbert Siedler. Now then, this might be a portent for things. Our GP2 winner earlier on hadn't won since Bahrain. Norbert Siedler hasn't won since Bahrain. He might be clutching at a little straw there on that one.
Absolutely. Have to trail all the way back to the first weekend of the season. Can he go for glory on the last weekend of the season? Norbert Siedler on board with René Rast up to Ascari. Now he's starting to look a little bit racier, isn't he? He's caught up Estre now. Estre taking a huge amount of curve, as you do, on the way into Ascari, but you can't unsettle the car. Rast getting on the throttle nice and early, but look, these cars don't tow quite as effectively as you would have liked, and the aerodynamic efficiency is good. And then they're almost on the limiter, but look how good Rast is under brakes. He's out-brakes himself slightly, though, runs a little bit wide, and that just delays him picking up the throttle, but he's got a good run still. It hasn't hampered him too much, but again, onto the start and finish straight. How effective is this tow, Martin? Let's have a look.
Well, Estre, of course, was a little offline to the right, so he didn't pick up the throttle quite as quickly either. Rast is closing, but he's going to hit the limiter, isn't he, before he can pull out? And that's the problem, is they're running out of puff. You know, it's like being in the 100 meters. You're absolutely flat out. You pull out behind somebody, but you've got no other gear. So Rast is close. But actually, all he needs to do is sit right behind Kevin Estre, and he will be champion. Sean Edwards has the points for fastest lap at the moment. We'll have to wait and see how that continues. Little battle further back. Kuba Giamasiak on the inside. And that's Christian Engelhardt. Or is it? No, it's Nicky Thiem, isn't it? Of course, Engelhardt's further back. So Giamasiak trying to get by Nicky Thiem. Couldn't quite manage it. Thiem winner last time out in Spa-Francorchamps. One of 6 race winners this season, rather greedily, of the races so far. René Rast has hoovered up 4 of them, though. Everybody else has just the single win each.
It is sitting behind Estre enough. There's only 1 point.
Yeah, it'll do.
There's only 1 point, though. So if Estre makes places or anything happens to the cars in front...
Yeah, but he needs to get to 3 laps from the end and then make his move. And at the moment, of course, Estre is learning nothing about what Rast can do, and Rast is learning everything about what Estre can do and will do and might have. So all the cards at the moment, Rast is holding them.
Well, at the moment, Estre dropping off the back of Sean Edwards and Norbert Siedler. Edwards looking the racier as Rast has a real look. And look, this is going to slow Estre now. He's outbrakes himself slightly. You can see the rear of the car squirreling around. He's compromised his minimum speed. That means Rast is right with him through the parabolica. And look, that's what I meant.
Oh, he's off. Estre off into the dirt, and Rast goes through. Kevin Estre gave it up with René Rast. Again, defending deep on the inside into the parabolica. Eventually, it's got to catch you out.
Yeah, he was just offline and he was trying to hold it, and the tyres just cried enough. The friction circle meant that gravity can only defy itself for a certain period of time. And Estre sucked off there, and it's the nature of the corner. And that's the championship title right there.
And that's in the sun on Monday morning. So Kevin Estre there, right behind him is his teammate Nicky Thiem. This is now a 3-car battle for 4th as the lead battle. Norbert Siedler, car number 1. Great Britain's Sean Edwards, car number 12. And Edwards only once has he won this season. It was a race where the track is called Monaco. Is this another M? Could he win here again? Estre drifting out wide, and it just eventually, you know, you're going to end up on the dirt, and you've got 2 choices: lift off and spin off, or keep it planted and drift off, and there's nowhere in between.
That was almost lift off. Look at the height he gets. But look, he's planted it from the apex, but you almost get the sense
down to get through the gravel. That's really thinking recovery.
You almost get the sense that it was avoidable.
Yeah.
You know,
Chris Crawford.
I think he misjudged it slightly there.
Chris Crawford engineering René Rast. Commendable sang-froid there as he sees Estre go off in a huge cloud of dust. Edwards again towing right up behind Siedler. What's he got this time? No speed advantage. He's there, but just can't slingshot by. And again, they're hitting a brick wall of air as they pull out from behind the car in front, and any speed advantage they might have completely vanishes. Norbert Siedler leads narrowly from Sean Edwards.
For pure class, you can't beat the Wednesday selection. Whether it's on the fairways with the major tours in golf, with the horses and riders in the best of equestrian sport, or battling the oceans with the most gifted names in sailing. It's all here on British Eurosport's Wednesday selection. Every Wednesday night, pure class.
The Wednesday selection, brought to you by Rolex.
Can I help you, sir?
I'm fine.
Hey! Do you need some help?
No, thank you. Are you sure you don't want any help?
Ask your doctor for help with erection problems. Ask about your options.
Nothing beats the feeling of watching live goals. Enjoy them in stunning high definition or wherever you are with Sky Go. Every goal matters. Don't miss out this season. To join or upgrade, call 08442 410 401 or visit sky.com/Sky Sports now. Sky. Believe in better.
Final race of the Porsche Supercup in 2012. We are at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, where our poleman Norbert Siedler leads from Sean Edwards. Nicky Thiem there, car number 22, chasing his teammate Kevin Estre, who was in the battle for third place and the championship, with René Rast drifted out wide a lap ago through the Parabolica and gave away third place. And in the process, allowed René Rast to sit and relax in third, with potentially the championship sitting in the car alongside him.
Yeah, he won't be relaxing, but it looks that way because he's unflappable. I was going to say before we went, as he pushes wider, he's still pushing his Rast wide out of Ascari. You know, with Estre, it's like impending doom, isn't it? You've got René Rast all over the back of you, and this guy has had so much success in this championship, and we've really raved about him for a number of years now. It'll amaze me if he doesn't generate some kind of top-line GT drive after this year, because he really is the real deal, isn't he?
He certainly is. Well, now the 2 points for pole position went to Norbert Siedler, which brings him a little closer to René Rast. I'm going to attempt some live maths now on air. So René Rast, 122 points coming in here. After pole, Norbert Siedler had 113. Tom, which is 13 to 22, is 9 points difference between them. At the moment, Siedler will score 20. Rast in third place will get 14, 20, 18, 16. I can't count. So that's a 4-point balance between them. So Rast at the moment in third place will still be in front of Siedler. Estre, a place behind, needs to be in front of Rast, so that's looking good for Rast as well. Sean Edwards, not close enough. Nicky Thiem behind Rast anyway. So at the moment, as Nicky Thiem has a big grassy moment there in front of his teammate Kevin Estre. Again, that position has changed, so Estre's gone further back. So Nicky Thiem has gone in front of Estre, which isn't helping his championship teammate unless he's doing a towing job for his teammate.
No, it'll be a move for position at this stage in the race. Thiem feels he's quicker. He will make the move and get past his teammate. And at the same time, his teammate, okay, he's lost a position, but you know, if Thiem can bring Estre along, then it only benefits the pair of them. It does also put a further cushion between Thiem and Ammermuller. Ammermuller is the car that you just can't quite see behind Gamaziak. So look, you'll see it now, that the black car at the back of that train, that's Ammermuller, and they are fighting for the Rookies Championship of the year. Thiem and Ammermuller. Ammermuller with a brace of seconds this year. Thiem with a win. 2 podiums and a win. He won last time out, so man on the move. But rookie championship plays a big part in this Porsche championship. You know, they take pride in bringing young drivers along, and Kevin Estra's one of them. He was the 2011 Rookie of the Year last year, and he's fighting for the crown this year. And they bring them along through the major championship in the Supercup and into their GT family.
Christian Engelhardt battling with Philipp Eng. They started 10th and 11th, and they are just about 10th and 11th at the moment. You're absolutely right. The 2 front-running drivers in the championship this year in terms of point scoring: René Rast, last year's overall champion, and car 33, Kevin Estra, last year's rookie champion. Well, again, when we were riding on board with Estra there through the Variante Ascari last time, I thought he was particularly rock-apey over the curbs, losing a lot of traction. However, clearly out of the Roger, he's now all over Nicky Team. But they are getting no closer to René Rast. What they need to do now, there's still 6 laps to go after this, spend the next 3 laps nose to tail, bump drafting each other up as they go under the old banking. That's what that is. It's not a bridge, that is the old bank circuit. In fact, the entire circuit here at Monza was once a whole loop. This road part and the full banked oval were 2 parts of the same track. The straight of the oval is on the left, just out of shot there as you look at that view from with the Alps behind you.
So they got a rowdy Busch to the front, Daytona style.
Absolutely. These 2 have to work together, because it benefits Team, because it gets him further away from Ammermuller in terms of space, if not in points potentially, and it benefits Estra because they have got to close, or Estra has somehow got to close on Rast, and he can't do it on his own.
Yeah, absolutely. And the turn bump drafting, obviously we see it in America, but we actually saw it to great effect from Felix da Costa in the GP3 races this morning, and he was pushing people along, and yesterday in fact. And he used it well. Very rare that you see something like that in a single season championship. We'd like to see it in this, but we're not.
Little lock up there from Philipp Eng, the number 7 machine. He just squeaked in front of Christian Engelhardt, and that in motorcycle terms is a block pass. You park it in the middle of the corner somehow, scrabble by, and then they can't get on drive to get by you, and that's what he did. So change for 9th place.
Lock up, Nicky Team.
That's because he had 2 wheels on the dirt on the right-hand side of the circuit coming down into the Roger.
Yeah, the Roger invites you to do that very bumpy downhill braking zone. It's actually normally the unweighted wheel that struggles, especially over the bumps on the inside, but Nicky Team managing to lock the right-hand side, and that was because, as Martin pointed out, he was very close to the edge of the track. You'll lose grip there. René Rast still hanging on to the coattails of Sean Edwards, doing just enough, isn't he? And Edwards not really being able to do anything in terms of challenging Norbert Siedler at the moment, and we see this so often, don't we?
Well, particularly on the really fast tracks, because they just run out of puff at the top end. There's no more revs, there's no more gears to go with. They are absolutely flat out, both of them right at the end of this straight. And so even if you get a great tow, you pull up behind him, you pull out, your car just slows down again. And so you don't get that single-seater slingshot by. And so as a result, it is still Norbert Siedler who leads the race.
Rock and roll in Ukraine, and 4 drivers still dicing for the title. While among the manufacturers, Skoda lead Peugeot as they approach crunch time in the Crimea. Saturday night at midnight, the Intercontinental Rally Challenge on British Eurosport.
Discover this month's great sporting events available on the Eurosport Player mobile application. So you don't miss out on any of the action, the mobile app gives you full live streaming access to British Eurosport and British Eurosport 2. Watch your favourite sports and stay connected when you're on the move. Because sport never stops, Eurosport Player is also available on Mac and PC. Eurosport Player, all sports, all emotions.
Race leader Norbert Siedler still keeping a weather eye on his mirrors. as Sean Edwards is right behind him here into the closing 5 laps of the season. No more flyaways, no more races remaining. It's all or nothing at Monza. In 3rd place on his own, just behind, is René Rast, the double champion, who looks as though he is going to go on to claim a 3rd consecutive title. And a battle between Stefano Camini on your left and Patrick Jabinski on your right. The Italian, the Swiss rather, and the Pole battling under braking.
Look, he's fully committed there, / out of control.
Yeah, which are you talking about? Because it applies equally to both, I think. That was the last of the 2 late breakers.
Absolutely. Great spectacle, though, for the neutral. We go back to the lead battle. Norbert Sliedler, look at that, through the dust left by Liskowski.
Yeah. Norbert Sliedler still with the race lead. And for a circuit that's renowned for lots of overtaking, there hasn't been an awful lot in Formula 1, and there hasn't been an awful lot so far in the Mobil 1 Porsche Supercup either.
My word, there's a lot in GP3 and GP2, however. But yeah, it's like the torque curve just flattens out at the top end. We saw it at Spa, we're seeing it again here. Sean Edwards just having to try and pressure Norbert Sliedler. That's what René Rast did to Kevin Estre. He put him under pressure, and Edwards locked up there. You could hear that the front tyres struggling for grip there. And very, very close to nerfing into the back of Sliedler. And you don't want to do that in one of these cars. They got the oil cooling radiators and the water cooling radiators situated at the front of the cars, rear-engined obviously, and if you make even small contact can cause a huge amount of damage to that front splitter, can't it, Martin? And we've seen, you know, they're not that robust. It's not like
well, they're not made.
British touring
they're
car.
not made exactly for impact racing, are they? Kevin Estre gets the run on his teammate Nicky Thiem inside the Dane into the first Lesmo. This is a bit of a substantial break for the Porsches anyway. All but Thiem is now going for the undercut into Lesmo 2. Can't quite get an overlap, or I'm sure he would have sat there. Well, you know, there's enough room. If you can get alongside, you can definitely get through between the 2 Lesmos.
But your teammate going for the championship, it would have been a catastrophe had they disappeared off into the gravel.
Yes, and Nicky Thiem going for the rookie championship as well. They wouldn't have served either of them particularly well.
No, you're right out of Ascari. Look at that. I love the cars when they ride that curve out of Ascari. You can really see the guys that are on it. And the heat haze now of the back straight down into the Parabolica. And it's a difficult, we just see the cars there. Because of the weight, a single-seater, you tend to struggle with understeer there, and you don't know when to pick the throttle up. And if you're late on the throttle, you're a sitting duck on the start and finish straight. With the Porsches, they brake, and because of the weight at the rear of the car, that the rear of the car's falling away from the apex, Sliedler feeling the need to go defensive. Edwards having a look, he won't do it from that far back. But yeah, the rear of the car starts to move around, and it's that weight that carries you away from the apex, and that's really what put paid to Kevin Estre, wasn't it? He got on the throttle nevertheless, but the momentum was still carrying him out, and he let the car run out too wide and was out into the gravel. Norbert Sliedler up into the Rogier now on board, looking back at Sean Edwards. That's the closest he's been.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And Edwards is now really pushing hard. He wants a win. One in Monaco, wants win number 2 in Monza, and he's got a tiny little overlap, and Sliedler looking a little vulnerable under braking.
Well, it was on the exit there. He carried so little speed through the second right-hander compared to Sean Edwards, who monstered that curve. He was on the throttle so early, wasn't he?
I think Sliedler was in a little deeper than he really wanted to be, and that's why I'm thinking, you know, when somebody does you on the exit, it's normally because you cocked up the entry to a corner. Fast in, slow out. And here comes Edwards.
Edwards flashing the lights.
Yeah. Oh, Sliedler hadn't spotted him there, obviously. 2 to go after this. Oh, and again, Sliedler in all sorts of trouble into the Varianti Ascari. Edwards could almost have got a little bit of an overlap going there as well. But now, actually, he's in one of the worst places to try and make a pass, which is down here into the Parabolica. What he's got to do, though, is try and force Sliedler to brake desperately late on the inside and run out of road. But Edwards puts himself on the outside. Now he's got to cut back inside, or he'll run out of road. And it is on as even as they come back towards the start-finish line. Finish line, by the way, is right there. This is the start line. That's not where the checkered flag will be. The checkered flag will be way back there. So if you haven't got it done into the Parabolica, it's really hard to sprint to the line. Edwards looking up the inside again. But again, Seidler just manages to keep it under control. This time, big lock-up, though.
It's the rear of the car that Seidler's struggling with. He can't quite get it set. And that's hampering him in the traction zones as well. Look, we'll see Edwards now on the exit of the corners and the two Lesmos, the medium speed corners where you need a bit of grip, start to close in on Seidler. Seidler's actually okay on the brakes. He's not struggling there.
Yeah. Out of Curva Grande, he had it.
Oh, yes, he is. There. Now he's in trouble. Look,
again,
that's it.
And Edwards is alongside, and Seidler's all over the road. And here comes René Rast to win the race in the championship as Edwards and Seidler tangle. Rast gets a free pass through. They go. Contact again between the two of them. The first was a little unnecessary. The second was definitely unnecessary. Rast goes through to take the lead of the race. And now that means that Nicky Team stroke Kevin Estre will be second and third, and Seidler's hopes of a win were starting to evaporate in the sunshine, and this is where it all came to fruition, Tom.
Seidler outbrakes himself, so he's compromised here. Edwards, look, hits him hard. Now, has Edwards damaged? Is there fluid coming out? There's fluid coming out.
Good spot.
Look, he's damaged, and that's what I was talking about before when we came on air. So Seidler stops it. That's not Edwards' fault. Edwards now compromised. Quite why Edwards comes back across.
Because he thinks he's clear and he's trying to shut down Seidler because he's looking in his left mirror on his side, hasn't spotted the danger from Rast. But here, I'm afraid, for both drivers, that's a little bit unnecessary.
A little bit clumsy at this level, but look, Edwards has got so much damage. He's done. Race over. I'll be surprised if he gets going. Look, it's clumsy from the pair of them. I think it was desperation from both of them. I think Edwards knows that he's done, and Seidler is struggling. Look, Edwards has gone. René Rast leads them from Estre. Nicky Team third.
Rast is going to lead the only one that matters, the last lap, and that's Sean Edwards. And everyone's left it, and Ammermuller's gone off on his water.
Yeah, Ammermuller spun on Edwards' water. Oh, God.
Oh, dear. Well, do you know what? Much as I respect what these guys do, I'm not sure that Sean Edwards is going to sit back and watch that and say, yeah, it was entirely somebody else's fault. Initially, yes, he got caught out because Seidler basically stopped there in the exit to the Roggia, and Edwards was hard on the gas trying to pick an advantage and went straight through. But do you know what?
Edwards just gone through the Roggia.
All he's going to do is just blow that motor, and I don't think France is going to be best pleased with that. It's pouring its lifeblood away, and René Rast, cool as a cucumber, calm as you like. That's all he needed to do. And you know what? He even gave away 2 races to his rivals by not racing in Hungary to go and do the Spa 24 hours, and still he's going to end up winning this championship. That's what a good summer he's had.
He won 5 races last year. He's about to win 5 races in his 3rd crown in a row.
But this year, even more impressive because he didn't even start the 2 races in Budapest. He's shaking his head. Chris Crawford's on the radio going, what the hell was going on there, probably? And René's going, I don't know, mate. I was just watching it.
Well, I think Estre was flashing his lights.
Yeah, maybe so.
So he's probably shaking his head thinking, well, really?
Punch in the air there. That was when Chris Crawford came on the radio and said, you are the champion, René Rast, the 2010, the 2011, the 2012 Porsche Mobil 1 Supercup champion. Herzlich Glückwunsch to René Rast, to the whole of the Veltins-Lechner racing team. René Rast, 3-peats. Now, he's only got to come back and win it next year to tie Patrick Heisman, a 4-time champion. Well, do you know what? He was as cool as a cucumber right up until the exit of the Parabolica, wasn't it? When he knew he could push it to the finish line, Tom, that's when the emotion finally was allowed to surface.
Yeah, great drive from René Rast, and inherited the lead from Sean Edwards, Norbert Seidler, who clashed with a couple of laps to go, but he looked so cool and calm and collective and drove such a good race. And for me, he's just the man of the moment in this Super Cup series.